So something I've really noticed over the last 2.5 years since 2020, both with clients that I've worked with and just observing people in general, is this questioning of, is what I'm doing fulfilling? Does it have meaning for me? Like kind of the autopilot mode of just living to work, and especially living to work in a job that isn't satisfying, kind of doesn't work anymore. And I think part of this, like what consciousness, the evolution of consciousness looks like, is getting closer to meaning, getting closer to fulfillment, to purpose, to heart. You know, there's that thing again that I talk so much about, because from the heart, what lies there is desire and passion and what enlivens us, and ultimately what our being wants us to live an enlivened life. However, we have been living in a society that is very left brain, it's very methodical, it's very structured, it's very linear, it's very, what's your 5-year plan, what's your 10-year plan, what is your life going to look like, what are the steps you're going to take, you know, when are you going to get the house and the mortgage and the 2.5 kids and the car and the everything is so controlled and structured. And then people kind of wonder why they're depressed and feel like, well, there's got to be more to life than this, because there is more to life than that. But we've been living from a logical, rational mind. How do I plan my life out? You know, I have people in their 20s that are trying to figure out, like, what is my 5-year, 10-year plan? And I'm thinking, you're in your 20s, you have your whole life ahead of you. And like, what would it look like if you let life surprise you? But really, actually, the more important question, because you could say, okay, well, then I'm just floundering, right? I don't want to flounder through life. So the more important question is not the what does my life look like, what will it look like, but the why, the intention, the motivation, the desire, the heart's desire of, what do I want to experience in my life? What makes me feel alive? When we start to ask ourselves that question and let that be the guide, what enlivens me? Let that be the guide. Then life starts to present us with these experiences and opportunities that make us feel alive, right? And I think, you know, so many people kind of let life happen to them, right? They feel a victim to life, at the mercy of life. You know, shit always happens to me. Or this is, you know, this is my life. This is my job. There's nothing I can do about it, right? I don't agree with that. Like, I get that. And sometimes we can be in situations and live in places where there are great limitations. However, I believe that, like, all that life really asks of us is to engage with it. Like, we can't just sit on the couch and eat potato crisps all day, right? Crisps, chips, depending where you're watching this video from. But it's also, on the other end of the spectrum, it's not about controlling life and being like, it has to look like this, and these are the steps to it. And because the thing is, from where I'm standing, what I thought my life would be when I was 20 to where I am now, it's just couldn't be more different. However, I can tell you that my intention of what do I want to experience in this life, what has meaning to me, what drives me, what motivates me, that's never changed. I have been so clear about that, and some people aren't clear about that, and that's okay too. So that's an exploration, and it's not, the motivation should never be like, oh, I need to find my purpose so then I can produce this thing, and then I'll be successful, and then I'll be validated, and then I'll be happy, and then things will be okay. No, life is an experience. It's an exploration. What has meaning for you? And if you don't know that yet, that's okay. So then the invitation is like, get curious. What makes you feel alive? What inspires you? What motivates you? What would be your heart's desire to experience in this life? And if the criticism and the judgment comes in and the yeah, but, or that's not possible for you, you just recognize that that's an old paradigm way of thinking that wants you to control your life because that feels safe. But control isn't safety. Actually, freedom is safety, because it's the freedom to be within yourself, authentically who you are, and to make choices based on what has meaning for you. that makes us feel safe because we're residing in the most powerful part of our being, which is our heart. Our mind is so easily manipulated. It can be, the mind can change its mind, literally. It can, have different thoughts and opinions. The heart, of course you could say, oh, my heart feels like this, and then sometimes it feels like that. Like we associate the heart just with love, romantic love, and that can sometimes be fleeting, or unpredictable. But I'm talking about something that's a much deeper core, like home. This is why the internal journey is so important, because when we understand what home is, then you can go anywhere, you can experience anything, you can do anything, and there you are. You're taking yourself wherever you are, and you're taking care of yourself as you do it, right? So the invitation is, if you don't feel alive in your life right now, begin to be curious about, well, what would make you feel alive? And feel into that. And then even if you can't make the external changes right now, just start to plant the seed of what would happen if I just got so curious about that and I felt into that so much that I just allowed that to be the guide. And then the opposite of how our society functions, which is logical, linear, predictive, planning, controlled, is you let the right side, the feminine side, play, right? So you trust your intuition. You let your intuition guide you. Let it be an intuitive process where you don't know. And there's mystery. And let life surprise you. And let the feeling guide you, right? Just as an experiment, try doing it differently, because we live very much on this side of ourselves. This side of ourselves. It depends on how you're looking at it. We live very much on the right side, the masculine side of our being. Try something different. Try to drop into a different center of gravity and really first ask yourself the question, what has meaning for me? What enlivens me? And then start to notice, what are the things that, it has this kind of ripple effect. What are the things that arise out of that? And you might discover like a new hobby, a new passion. Just get curious. Just get curious and see where that leads you, but let the heart guide you. The mind is the servant, not the master. Take it or leave it as feels right for you, as always, and loving you from afar. Bye.